Hello everyone. I've just been for a long walk by myself up Cleve Hill here in Cheltenham in the centre of the Cotswolds, and I've done it just to get out of the house for a bit of time on your own. Does you some good sometimes, just to go for a long brisk walk. We've got a storm coming here into the country. It's called Storm Frank, apparently. I don't know why they keep putting names to all these things, but they do. And everybody in the north of the country, especially in Yorkshire, bless them, they've been hit terribly this year through the Christmas period. So our hearts and thoughts go out to all those people with all their flooded homes. As I'm walking along the top of the hills here, I just got back in the car and thought I'd just share a few moments with the camera. There are people looking at me over the road there thinking I'm probably talking to myself. But it doesn't matter. What did I want to say? Do you know, you have so many things when you're walking along the hills that you want to say, that you think would be acceptable to say. And I suppose I'm just reflecting on the last year, 2015, and I'm hoping at some point that Cora and I will do one together. And so I won't take away some of those sort of bullet point periods where we were doing things together throughout the year that were quite big achievements for us as a couple. I mean, what I wanted to say was that I've noticed across the social networking sites, we have gained so many friends, so many people that are now friends with us from all walks of life, from different parts of the world. And what they've done is they're all connecting, they're getting together, they're all suddenly realizing that, hang on a minute, we're not on our own. There are loads of us out there that are coming together, talking about our experiences, our hardships, the prices we've all paid for being at a Watchtower. And people are touching each other and coming together. It's amazing what's actually happening. And what I love about it, and what Cora loves about it more than anything, is the abundance of variety that we see out there from different people's backgrounds and what they believe now. And they come from, as I've said, so many different dynamic backgrounds, where you hear of people that are now Christian, that are now atheist, that are now agnostic, all kinds of different views on that too, because they don't just stay under that one title. There are lots of variants between all of that stuff. But you know what? For the vast majority of us, we have the common sense to realise that it doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter exactly. That's not the important issue here. That's your freedom of choice, your freedom of mind, your ability to be able to critically think is what matters, is what is really, really important here. Nothing else matters. And Cora and I, for a couple, we will live and die by that. We live and die by people, and we're passionate about people's right to choose. Their right to be able to just be who they think they want to be. That's the only way it can ever be, when you're truly free. So when you come out of an organization, a corporation, a cult, known as Watchtower, for instance, where you've spent years of indoctrination, it can take some people a very long time, in some cases many decades, to finally free themselves mentally of the machinations of everything that they've been under. And what it needs is a community out there of people that, no matter what their belief system is, that they are there to support them, there to look after them, there to put to touch them on the shoulder and just say, you know, we're here, we're ready, we just want to be here to support you, because that's all that matters to us. You've come out of a very destructive cult. So when we hear these kitchen sink arguments about it's atheist versus Christian, boy, does that get our claw. Playground stuff. It's pathetic. It really is unbelievably ridiculous. A total nonsense. What we really all care about is looking after each other. That's what matters here. Nothing else does. What people do with their lives is their choice. And we'll stand by that. And if I've ended up upsetting Christians because of that, tough. If I've ended up upsetting some atheists out there, tough. The people that know us and our friends, we all understand the true fundamental issue here is not about your belief system. It's all about whether or not you want to be free to make the choices that you want to make as a person and as a family, and share those expressions of joy. That's how you feel, that's what you believe, that's what you see. That's wonderful. That's an expression of life. Those are the good things. So we stand by that. We really do. I mentioned at the beginning of this conversation that there's a storm on the way called Storm Frank. Well, it will be a storm for some people, as I said, up north, because they're in a terrible state. But there's a storm coming for Watchtower too, a massive storm. And that storm is coming in the shape of, first of all, 2 inquiries. We've got the historical child abuse inquiry that's being known as the Goddard inquiry here in this country that's now kicking off, and also the Charity Commission's inquiry investigation is now taking off. 2 very big inquiries, separate from each other, but also fresh on the heels of everything that happened throughout 2015 with the Australian Royal Commission. So we know that within the historical child abuse investigation, that Watchtower is just one tiny, weeny little part of a much bigger 12 streams of investigations, I believe, that are going on into all different types of establishments. And the faith category, Watchtower just fit into that faith category somewhere along the line, and this will go on for years. So there's a lot that's going to be talked about throughout the year and about the coming years about where does Watchtower fit into this inquiry, because it damn well will. There's a lot to be said about the concealment of child rape and molestation, isn't there, Watchtower? And we, for our part, will be playing a part to make sure that the inquiries get all of that information. So will the survivors. Many of us have got organised now and are sharing what we know and how we know about what the Watchtower actually does when it comes to supposedly storing certain bits of information of child abuse in their secret sealed files, envelopes, and what they actually do in the way of destroying that information too. So we know when it comes to court cases, it all disappears. Why do I say that? Is that me saying that? No, that's not me saying that. That's the court saying that. That's the Crown prosecution saying that. It's the police saying that. It's the lawyers saying that. It's the survivors saying that, not Mark Latham. So all of that stuff needs to be revealed to the inquirers and then hammered home. So yes, there's a storm on the way for this organisation. Will it improve their status in society? No. It's educating the public that we're on a conquest here. It's a matter of inoculating people from joining cults such as Watchtower and making them at least realise that what they're joining has another side that they won't be seeing or hearing about within their Bible studies. So for us in 2016, part of our ambition will be to progress that, to keep that going, to talk to journalists, to move forward with that. And even though we see all sorts of counter arguments from Watchtower that this is a nonsense, that they do everything they can, we know for a fact we've got enough information now to prove them wrong. And I'm not talking about apostate literature either. I'm talking about their own literature, their own stuff. And before anybody starts getting on this copyright issue thing about us issuing letters, let's just make one thing clear. When it comes to child abuse, all of this so-called copyrighted letters have already been sanctioned for public exposure and public scrutiny by the Royal Australian Commission. It's already out there. It's wide and it's broad in its scale. That's the stuff we'll be using here in the United Kingdom, and we make no apology for that. What else did I want to say? So yeah, 2016, just as I'm going to say this and keep it as simplistic as possible, because there are always one or two that decide to try and make a beef out of things. All we care about is looking after each other. That's the main emphasis. What I would say to individuals that are coming out of Watchtower, that are already out of the Watchtower now and are looking at all of those vocal individuals that are out there, use your intuition. As you're watching these videos and you're watching the Facebook channels, if you see something that's destructive, where people are tearing each other apart, then move away from it. Don't get involved with it. See it for what it is. Because it's just destructive. It's not helpful. It doesn't help people that are delicate of mind, that are fragile, that need the support of the rest of us. That's the only thing that we focus on, and Cora and I know many of us are like-minded, are exactly the same. Those that are looking to divide within the community, as far as I'm concerned, have no place in the community. But I can't make that decision. There has to be freedom of choice for all those individuals out there to make their own choice. Do I want to be associated with someone that's completely tearing people apart all the time? Or is it a waste of my time? Only questions that you can answer yourself as individuals. But it's important to say it, because as we go into 2016, this stuff is like a cancer. It gets into the community, and people start becoming offended by what people are saying, and they're ripping into each other. And it doesn't happen all the time. There seems to be a hardcore group of them that do it, and we've become familiar with the certain names that do it. But what I would say is stop doing that. Grow up a bit. Start being a little bit more mature. Why are you on the internet in the first place? Is it to express yourself? Nothing wrong with that. Is it okay to be angry? Yes, it is. Is it all right to throw yourself around? Yes, it is. Is it all right to start destroying other people on the internet? Is it really? No, it's not. And there are times where all of us have written things where we're concerned about what other individuals are doing. You think, why are you doing that? And so what I'm trying to say is, as far as we're concerned, we're not going after anybody. We're not trying to expose any individual as such. But what we are saying is, please, can we just work together and work together at what really matters here, which is exposing Watchtower, exposing this organisation that will conceal child rape and molestation, domestic violence, that shuns people all over the world, that sees children dying from blood transfusions. Yes, even today, it's happening all over the place. It's a killer cult, and anything else is a distraction. So inoculation of those that might be thinking of joining, inoculation and education for the press and all those that will listen, and the politicians, social services, police forces, wherever we can get a voice, and the medical fraternity, get them to know and help them understand the other side of the argument with regards to this so-called nice religion who come knocking on your door in a suit. Those are the important things, and I stand by that. So, enough said. I don't know if I've waffled on. It probably means very little to anybody. I just needed to share that, just things that have been bugging me recently. And I'm not airing grievances, I'm just raising concerns. And I have no beef to grind with anybody. I just want to see as many of us come together, because when we're together we have such a strong bond. And this particular religion that's so secretive and insular has no way of combating it when we all become part of that vast apostate army. And it is the VAA. We're very broad in our attitudes, broad in our beliefs, but we all have that one real burning rage inside us, and that's the time that we've been spending all of our lives within this indoctrinated dark deception known as Watchtower, and it's robbed us, all of us, of key elements of our life, and so we're catching up. So some of us are, and now all of us have been angry at some point or other. I know I certainly have. But then we look around and we see others suddenly putting their heads above the precipice and suddenly saying, excuse me, but can I have help too? Where did you get this from? Where did you get that information from? That's the important stuff. And that's all I wanted to say. It's getting very dark now. I wonder if that storm's on the way. Seems like it is. But we're ready for it. And thanks for listening. And I better get back to my dear wife now. I think she wants me to go and do some shopping, ready for tea.